Hello and welcome to Express News with me, Deepika, your daily half-an-hour window that brings you all the latest news and updates from the country and the world in 30 minutes. Let's begin. India celebrates Children's Day today. Various programs were held across the nation on the occasion of Children's Day. President of India, Draupadi Murmu, meets with students at the President House in New Delhi on the occasion. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi also paid tribute to Jawaharlal Nehru on his birth anniversary. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a two-day visit to Jharkhand starting today. On Wednesday, the birth anniversary of Lord Birsa Munda, the Prime Minister will visit Lord Birsa Munda Memorial Park and Freedom Fighters Museum in Indian city, Ranchi. The Indian Prime Minister will also visit Ulihatu village, the birthplace of Lord Birsa Munda. Prime Minister will also participate in the 3rd Tribal Pride Day 2023 in Khunti. India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal attended Investors Roundtable in the USA, says India is an attractive investment destination for the world. Minister Piyush Goyal also met South Korea's Trade Minister, taking to X. The minister said that the duo explored ways to enhance India-South Korea Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met with the newly appointed UK Home Secretary James Cleverly in UK. Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar also met the UK Defence Secretary. Both the leaders discussed bolstering defence and security cooperation. India's Minister for External Affairs also addressed the Indian community at Diwali reception in London. He hailed the community for making a powerful contribution to the India-UK relations. Defence Minister of India Rajnath Singh also to attend the 10th ASEAN Defence Ministers meeting plus in Jakarta, Indonesia on the 16th of November. The minister will hold bilateral meetings with the defence ministers of the participating countries and discuss defence cooperation matters to further strengthen mutually beneficial engagements. In the Himalayan state of Uttarakhand, relief and rescue work is currently underway to evacuate the stranded workers at the earliest from the Silkyara tunnel collapse site. Around 40 workers are trapped in the tunnel, and the authorities said that all are safe and being sent food and water. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami reviewed the status of the ongoing operation to rescue 40 workers trapped in Silkyara tunnel in India's Dehradun. In India, retail inflation based on consumer price index eased to 4.87% in October as compared to 5.02% in September this year. According to the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, rural areas saw a higher inflation rate at 5.12% as compared to the urban areas at 4.62%. Campaigning for the assembly elections is in full swing in the Indian states of Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan and Telangana. Moving on to business and economy, Indian share markets ended in red today as Sensex dropped by 325.58 points to settle at 64,933.87 points. Nifty dropped by 82 points to close at 19,443.5 points. Indian rupee fell to 83.26 against the US dollar in early trade. Gold futures stood at 60,204.74 rupees per 10 grams on Multi-Commodity Exchange of India Limited. Silver futures maturing on the 5th of December are traded at 73,000 rupees per kilogram on the MCX. Brent crude was trading at around $81.78 US per barrel on Tuesday. Wall Street ends session slightly down on Monday as investors held their breath before a crucial inflation reading. S&P 500 takes a pause ahead of the US inflation data and lost 3.69 points. The Nasdaq Composite lost 30.37 points. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose by 54.77 points. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with commanders and soldiers of the Karakal Battalion at one of the assembly points near the Gaza Strip fence. During his visit, Prime Minister Netanyahu thanked the soldiers for their service and asserted that Israel will pursue war against Hamas to the end. Israeli tanks are reported to have taken up positions outside the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza City's main medical center. Israel claims that the hospital sits atop Hamas tunnels. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said Hamas has lost control of the Gaza Strip. It has ruled for 16 years. Gallant said Israeli forces are advancing according to plans and carry out the task accurately and lethally. The armed wing of Hamas has said that they told Qatari mediators that the group is ready to release up to 70 women and children held in Gaza in return for a 5-day truce. The White House on Monday said that the U.S. is working to get the release of hostages held in Gaza. The U.S. Supreme Court has formally adopted its first code of ethics after press reports earlier this year revealed justices accepting lavish vacations and gifts paid for by rich benefactors. The U.S. House of Representatives voted to pause the effort to impeach Homeland Security Secretary, halting a Republican campaign that alleges he has been derelict in his duty of managing the U.S.-Mexico border. Former U.S. President Donald Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., defended his father's real estate portfolio during a civil fraud trial. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's new cabinet meets for the first time. He brought former Prime Minister David Cameron back into government as Foreign Secretary as part of a wider ministerial reshuffle. The European Union's foreign ministers met in Brussels on Monday to discuss the situation in the Middle East and the support for Ukraine. Brazil's President Lula da Silva welcomed 32 of his country's nationals who were rescued from Gaza following a month of negotiations. Myanmar's junta has imposed a curfew in the western city of Sitwe amid a surge in fighting on several fronts between the military and ethnic minority insurgent groups. Indonesia's President Joko Widodo has urged his U.S. counterpart Joe Biden to do more to stop the atrocities in the Israel-Hamas conflict and has also called for a ceasefire for the sake of humanity. Speaking at the White House, Widodo said the fighting should stop immediately, with the conflict casting a shadow over talks in Washington. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has called on Pacific Rim finance ministers to work on financing the transition to low-carbon energy with a focus on achieving net zero goals. A delegation led by Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Centre visited the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Centre in Dubai to enhance collaboration between Indian and Emirati space sectors. The delegation included Indian space startups sharing expertise in various space activities. InSpace updated MBRSC on recent space sector reforms in India, empowering the private sector. South Korea has welcomed defense ministers and representatives of the United Nations Command that comprises of 17 countries. U.S. Secret Service agents in Washington fired shots at 3 people who attempted to break into an unmarked vehicle. The agents encountered possibly 3 people breaking a window on an unoccupied government vehicle. Roads near Grindavik in Iceland were closed to the public due to a potential volcanic eruption. The town experienced ground shaking, road cracking, and structural damage. Almost 4,000 people were evacuated from the town, fearing molten rock could hit the coastal town and a geothermal power station as well. Over 2,000 delegates are gathered at the United Nations Environment Programme headquarters in Nairobi to forge out a global treaty to combat plastic pollution. Around 60 nations are seeking rules to reduce the use and manufacture of plastics made from fossil fuels. Many environment groups have backed the idea, but plastic-producing countries, including the US, are against it. A yellow warning for thunderstorms is in place for southern England after Storm Debbie brought wild weather to parts of the UK. Warning follows heavy rains and wind across northern England and Scotland. Bangladesh is facing its worst dengue outbreak ever due to climate change. There have been reports of about 1,400 deaths and over 100,000 infections of dengue. Firefighters evacuated stranded residents in Ost after rivers burst their banks following torrential overnight rain in the central Italian region of Tuscany. 6 people have been killed and around 190 people have been forced to evacuate. South Indian state of Tamil Nadu is receiving widespread rain as an impact of a low-pressure area. The weather system has raised expectations of intense rainfall over coastal districts and adjoining districts. Fishing activities have been banned for 2 days in the coastal area of the Ramananthapuram district of Tamil Nadu. The decision was taken as the low-pressure area over the Bay of Bengal is expected to turn into depression. Restoring global forecast could sequester 22 times as much carbon as the world emits in a year, according to a study, making the case that trees are a key tool in confronting the climate crisis along with cutting fossil fuels. In an incredible fusion of technology and tradition, a robot manufactured by Indian-based Orange Wood Robotics Company performed the ritual of Aarti of Hindu deity Lord Ganesha. The ITO Ghat in the national capital New Delhi is being prepared ahead of the celebrations of the Hindu festival Chhath that begins on the 17th of November. A red-crowned crane conservation project has been approved in the Tram Chim National Park in Vietnam for the period 2022 till 2032. The estimated total cost of implementing the project is over $7.5 million, which will be utilized to receive, nurture and conduct research on the reproduction of the red-crowned cranes. American electric aircraft manufacturer Joby Aviation has successfully launched its first electric air taxi flight at the downtown Manhattan heliport in New York City. With this launch, Joby Aviation, in partnership with Delta Airlines, aims to offer fast, emission-free journeys and also reduce helicopters' noise impact. South Korean automotive manufacturer Hyundai has launched a dedicated electrical vehicle plant for the first time in 29 years in the country, with its completion set for the year 2025. The construction of the EV factory has begun in the test drive section of Hyundai's Motor Ulsan factory and is set to produce about 200,000 electronic vehicles annually. Archaeologists have discovered a medieval skeleton with a 500-year-old iron hand prosthesis in the Bavarian town of Freising near Munich in southern Germany. A radiocarbon dating of the skeleton shows that it belonged to a man between the age of 30 and 50 who died sometime between 1450 and 1620. The 42nd India International Trade Fair has opened today in New Delhi with more than 3,000 exhibitors celebrating the rich heritage of India's crafts and handlooms. A unique ritual involving worship of the self is observed in Nepal. The Nevar community is celebrating Nepal Sambat, the New Year, in the morning and performing Maha Puja in the evening today. 12 orangutans have been airlifted to freedom in Kalimantan, Indonesia. They were transported by car and helicopter before being released into the Bukit Batika Protection Forest and KG Suen Ecosystem Restoration Concession. A renowned Macau-based eatery called a Wenstora, known for its century-long tradition of serving Macanese and Portuguese cuisine, has officially shut down due to the absence of successors. Kegon Falls near Tokyo's Nikko City is lit up at night to attract tourists post-fall of foliage season. A ceremonial start on Saturday included a mountain priest blowing a seashell horn. Guernsey's auction house in New York is set to hold an online auction on the 14th of December, featuring items from the 20th century with 30-plus lots showcasing significant moments in history and pop culture. Guernsey's auction block will feature a handwritten note by former U.S. President John F. Kennedy, personal items from author Henry Miller, Elvis Presley's sixth-grade report card, and the master recordings from Bob Dylan's debut album. Britain's King Charles initiated his 75th birthday celebrations a day ahead, commencing with a traditional tea party hosted at Highgrove House on Monday. French enthusiasts savoured a diverse selection of Japanese wines during a tasting affair hosted in Burgundy on Sunday. Over 70 distinct wines crafted from locally cultivated Japanese grapes were showcased at the event. Barcelona's Sagrada Familia temple lit up the four towers of the Evangelists, marking the inaugural illumination of this iconic moment at Antoni Gaudi's masterpiece, witnessed by hundreds on the 12th of November. Indian action thriller Tiger 3 starring Salman Khan and Katrina Kaif has entered the 100 crore club within 2 days of its release in theatres. On the second day, the film minted 58 crore rupees at the domestic box office. Papa Meri Jaan, the third track from upcoming Bollywood film Animal starring Ranbir Kapoor and Anil Kapoor, has now been released. Rock legend and Rolling Stones frontman Mick Jagger went pandal hopping in the Indian city of Kolkata on the occasion of Diwali celebrations in the country. Sony Pictures has released the trailer for the upcoming animated film called The Garfield Movie. The trailer reveals actor Chris Pratt as the voice of the iconic orange cat, Garfield. Warner Bros. Discovery has announced the revival of John Cena starring live-action and animation hybrid film Coyote vs. Acme after filmmakers revolted against its initial shelving. After nearly 30 years, English rockers The Beatles have landed on the Billboard Hot 100 list with their new song called Now and Then. Canadian rapper Drake has announced an extension of his It's All a Blur tour into the year 2024 with American rapper J. Cole that will begin on the 18th of January. American singer-songwriter Olivia Rodrigo has unveiled the music video for her new song Can't Catch Me Now from upcoming film The Hunger Games, the ballet of songbirds and snakes. American rock band Tool has announced a series of UK and European tour dates set to kick off in May next year. That includes a slot at London's O2 Arena. Korean pop group ATEEZ is set to release their 12-track full-length second album titled The World EP.fin will, with title track Crazy Form on the 1st of December this year. Moving on to sports, India will face off against New Zealand in the first semi-final of the ongoing Cricket World Cup at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai on Wednesday. Indian captain Rohit Sharma has said that the team does not want to focus on what has happened before in the history and now see how they can get better as a team and achieve at this match. New Zealand and captain Sir Kane Williamson is upbeat about his team's chances of taking down exceptional India. The Black Caps skipper said that any team can beat anybody on the given day. Ahead of the semi-final clash between India and New Zealand, Bayern Munich soccer player Thomas Müller posted a video on social media platform X wishing Team India good luck. Former South African pacer Moeen Mokel resigned as the Pakistan cricket team's bowling coach days after the team was knocked out of the World Cup in India. India's badminton star Pramod Bhagat continued his good run after he won a gold in SL3 singles category at the recently concluded Hewlett Daihatsu Japan Para Badminton International event. And in ATP Finals debut, Carlos Alcaraz was defeated by two-time champion Alexander Zverev of Germany. Zverev delivered a clean-hitting performance to win by 6-7, 6-3, 6-4 against the Spaniard. Argentina coach Hernan Crespo is set to take charge at UAE club Al Ain. Crespo will succeed Dutch coach Alfred Schreuder, who parted ways with Al Ain last week after just 6 months in charge, following media reports that he would be moving to Saudi Arabia. Thousands of fans welcomed the funeral cortege of Manchester United great Bobby Charlton at Old Trafford. And relatives and friends of Luis Manuel Diaz, the father of Liverpool player Luis Diaz, attended a Thanksgiving Mass after he was freed by Colombia's National Liberation Army in Barrancas, Colombia. And with this, it's a wrap here on Express News for now, but news and updates will continue here on DD India. So don't go anywhere, keep watching and keep tracking DD India for all latest news and updates from the country and the world. Thank you so much for joining us right now.